Okay, so in this video, what we're going to discuss is about the use of command file editor to model our structure or to perform yung process of modeling our structure without using the user interface. Ayan. So, just to give us an idea kung paano ba gumagana yung Staad editor, I guess it's good thing na tignan natin yung itsura niya if we have an existing model. So, create lang tayo ng simple beam connection. So, let's start with yung origin natin na 0, 0, and then we will be adding additional beam along siguro Z. So, siguro dito. And then, we're going to connect them as a single element. Sabihin na natin mga 3 meters yung distance. So, along the Z, positive Z, naglalagay tayo, 3 meters. So, yan yung distance natin. And then, we are going to add a beam connecting those two nodes. So, we are going to use this command right here. So, yan yung ating element. So, we have already created like 2 nodes and then isang beam. Now, let's look at yung content ng editor so that we'll understand kung paano ba gumagana yung command doon sa loob ng file. So, let's open utilities and then command file. Kiklik lang natin yung command file. We are being asked to save. So, select lang natin yung yes. Okay, so yung mga parts natin. So, unang-una is yung type ng structure. Followed by yung inputs natin for the job information which starts from yung command dito na start job info. And then from the start, and then yung pinaka-end ng command is yung end job info. So inside of this command, yung kabuuan na command, lahat ng laman niya is about yung information ng project which would include yung job name, job client, job number, revision parts. Tapos ito yung mga entities na nagpa-perform ng design checking. Yan. Can just delete this one. So, if you want to, so instead of using yung command dito na let's say file, tapos instead na i-edit natin through yung editor mismo dito, yung UI, user interface, pwede nating i-memorize yung mga syntaxes dito like yung job and then name so that later on kapag may project tayo mas mabilis yung editing natin, no? So we can modify yung inputs natin dito faster. Okay, so that is yung second part. Yung pangalawa is yung display which includes yung input tapos width tapos 79. It does not really matter for now kung ano yung content nito. Let's proceed and look at yung line number 16 which is pertaining to the default unit that our software is using currently. So, yung unit natin, unit followed by yung length measurement and then yung force measurement or force unit. So, unit, meter, and then kilonewton. Now, if you want to manually bypass natin yung units, then we can just change this one to inches or centimeter. Pero as of now, kailangan nating i-default sa meter muna. Okay, so ilang parts na yun? 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Yung pang-apat is for this particular model kasi wala pa tayong iba pang mga miscellaneous details. Yung pang-apat dito, which is under number 17, yung joint coordinates. So, yung joint coordinates are made up of dalawang components or dalawang inputs dito which corresponds to yung nilagay nating node. Now, remember, 4 yung input data dito. So, 1, 0, 0, 0. So, and then yung 2, 0, 0, 3. Ano bang ibig sabihin yan? Yung 1, yung first number represents the number of the element. So, joint 1, joint 2, and then followed by yung coordinate system, x, y, z. Yung parang delineation nila, yung character that is separating those inputs is yung space o yung white character dito. So, space bar lang. And so, joint number space x coordinate space y space z, and then for every input of each element for yung joint, we will be terminating it with a semicolon character followed by yung susunod na mga elements. So ito yung pangalawang element, terminated by a semicolon character. Okay, next is yung member incidence naman, which corresponds to the data that is pertaining to our beam elements. So, dito naman, tatlo lang yung kanyang data so far, as of now. Pero if you're going to add additional properties later on, madadagdagan yun. But for member elements, yung first na input dito will be the number of the element. So, yung ID ng element, ID number 1. And then followed by another number, and then followed by another number. So, yung second and third inputs corresponds to yung ID nung joint na kaparehas nung node number A or letter A and then node B, which is number 1 and number 2. Now, we can make some modifications dito. Pwede natin gawing 3 yan, tapos 3 din to. Ni-skip natin yung ID, okay lang yun. So, let's just save this one and see how is it affecting yung model natin. Yan. So, dun sa ating numbering system dito, so 1 and 3, tanggal yung 2. Dun sa ating sequence dun sa property ng beam has also been updated to include yung joint number 3 dito. Right? Now, let's remove everything else. So, dito tayo sa editor mag-edit ulit. So, tanggalin natin yung joint coordinates and member incidence. Save natin and then i-close natin so that everything will be reset to its default setting. Ngayon, I prepared a bit of basic model dito. Subukan natin itong i-model using Staad editor. Okay, so let me just align them so that I am able to see both sides. Alright, so ganyan yung itsura niya. Ngayon, paano ko i-model kaya to? Unang-una is I'll assign assign my origin. So assuming na gusto kong gawing origin yung joint na to. So let me call this one joint 0 0 0. So this will be my origin. So ibig sabihin, if I'm going to identify every joint, kasi lahat ng mga elements natin dito, or I mean connections dito, terminations would represent a node in our Staad model. So, ano yung magiging designation nitong joint na to? This will be, kasi sabi dito, 2.5 daw. 2.5. So, in this direction is papuntang Z, right? So, papuntang Z yan. Ang Z coordinate pala is third doon sa order. So, ibig sabihin, pag kinumpleto natin yung coordinate nito, 0 para sa Y, or X, 0 pala sa Y, and then 2.5 para sa Z. Right? So, gawin natin clockwise siguro, parang ganyan. Counterclockwise, kumbaga. Joint 1, joint 2, joint 3 natin is 0. Tapos yung X is eto, 3.5. 3.5 followed by yung Z natin dito is 2.5. Alright. Okay, and then yung nasa likod, so quick lang natin nilalagay. No? So this one is 0, tapos 3.5, tapos 0 yung kanyang Z. And then yung mga upper joints natin, papalitan lang natin. Uy, mali. May mali tayo dito. So this should be 3.5, tapos 0, and then 2.5. Then this one will be 3.5, 0, 0. Okay? And then, oops, nawala. 3.5, 0, 0. Yan. So for the rest of yung mga joints natin, yung mga upper portion, kasi panay 0 yung Y, papalitan na lang natin to ng height nung structure, which is 4. Yan. With that said, we can now proceed and make yung modeling natin. So under utilities, command file, open natin siya, and then so if you have forgotten yung command, maglagay lang kayo ng initial dito na data para, let's say, pumunta tayo sa editor. Yan. May lalabas dito na info na initial data para may mag-guide tayo kaagad. No? So joint coordinates, I've already added yung joint 1, followed by joint 2 will be 0, followed by 0, and then 2.5 semicolon, then 3.5, 0, 2.5, colon, followed by 3.5, space 0, space 0, colon. May kulang actually, which is yung numbering ng joints natin. 1, 2, then 3, and then joint 4. Okay, before we proceed, let's just save this one. So, i-close natin. Yes. And then, check natin dun sa model natin if it is actually modeled correctly. So, mukhang tama naman. No? So, from here, you can proceed and make the necessary model through copy-pasting. Pero, completuin natin using command editor. So, ang kagandahan kasi dito is that we can certainly make some copy-pasting of data. So, pwede kong kopyahin yan, ilagay dito. Actually, if you can use spreadsheets like Excel, mas mabilis na naman yun. So, yung next ko dito is that I'll continue yung numbering natin. 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, ang papalitan ko lang dito is yung pinaka-height ng structure. So, yung mga middle inputs natin dito, X, Y, Z. So, lahat ng mga Y, papalitan ko ng 4. So, 0, 4. 0, 4 yan. 3.54, tapos 2.5, and then 3.54, and then 0. So, that's it. I'll save this one, and then, member. So, ang maganda sa version 22, or I mean, Connect Edition V22 is that merong kumbaga code completion or syntax completion na available. Like if nagta-type tayo, may recommendation na ibibigay so that hindi tayo magkaroon ng errors. So member, waitin natin, no? Member, medyo naka-hide. So member incidence. Right. So, yung member incidence natin would correspond to our beam elements. So, i-model natin yung beam elements natin. Alright. So, ano ba yung mga beam elements natin? Let's proceed and make yung identification. So, ganun pa rin yung magiging process natin. Parang counterclockwise siguro. So, this one will be 1, 2, tapos 3, tapos 4. Tapos next is lalagay natin yung mga beams natin like 5. Ito yung 5. Tapos ito yung 6, 7, and then 8. So, for column number 1, ano ba yung i-connect natin ng mga joint? So, that will be member number 1. Coordinates are joint 1 tapos joint number 5. Right? So, yung pairing natin has been in order already, no? 2, 6, 3, 7, or 8 para sa column. So, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Ito yung mga columns natin. And then, input natin yung mga additional na node incidence. So, that would be 2, 6, and then yung number 3 is 3, 7, followed by number 4 is 4, 8. For now, let's just save and see if how does it reflect on yung sa ating model. Mukhang tama naman yun. So, ito yung column natin which has a length of 4 meters. By the way, I'm able to view yung information ng beam or column by double-clicking on the element. What's left is to model yung mga columns natin or yung mga beams. So we have 4 additional elements. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so ano yung mga inputs natin dito? We will be connecting joints number 5 and then 6. 5, 6, 6, 7. So ito yung 6. Ito yung 6, ito yung 7, ito yung 8. And then pabalik sa number 5. Yan, so 6, 5. Ito yung 6, 5. 5, 6, 6, 7. 7, and then 5. So, 6, 7. Wait lang. So, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. 7, 8 naman yan. And then, last doon sa list natin is 8. Pabalik sa number. Joint number 5. So, by just using text, we can model yung structure natin. Now, there are with this option, we can, it opens up a lot of possibilities. Like, pwede mong i-model using yung spreadsheet, like I said. Pwede kang mag-model through yung spreadsheet kasi mas madali yung copy-pasting and then reference text. Like, what I mean is, pwede tayong maglagay dito ng information like ito yung node number, and then instead of manually typing them, di ba, pwede tayong gumamit ng mga formula. So B3 plus 1, yan. So using yung spreadsheet, mas mapapabilis yung modeling natin. And then after nyan, kasi di ba meron, ano ba yung mga elements or parts nung property, yung node number, x, y, and then z. Tapos, para ma-terminate yung element, maglalagay tayo ng colon dun sa last. And then, yung ganitong setup, pwede nating i-copy-paste dun sa ating model. So, let me just try kung gagana siya. Tapos 0, 1, 2. Ayan, so I have pasted the information and ang kailangan na lang natin ditong gawin is clean up. So, i-clean up na lang natin. Ano pa ba yung mga pwede nating idagdag dito? Doon pala sa node dapat yan. Dito natin pwedeng ilagay. Pero it's not part of yung model natin, so pwede natin tanggalin. Okay. Also, pwede natin siyang i-arrange such that naka-vertical lahat. Ayan, naka-vertical. Right? Ganon din lang sa mga member incidents natin. Okay, and then we can just save. It will still work the same as yung kanina. For as long as meron tayo, tama yung mga orders natin ng delimitation or kaya spacing, so dapat may termination tayo na colon, etc. Okay, ano ba yung mga pwede pa nating idagdag dito? We can actually make comments. Comments are included in our editor pero hindi siya valid na part ng model natin. Pag sinave natin, it will not change the model at all. So, pwede tayong maglagay ng mga comment dito na like for instance, testing lang. Well, there are certain benefits of using comments because if may mga models tayo na medyo complicated and then during the editing, medyo kulang yung oras and we must or we do not have any option but to terminate yung work natin and continue during other time. No? So, pwede tayo maglagay na pwede ka maglagay dito ng edit na not yet done here. Yan. So, parang reminder na kumbaga andito pa lang yung work na yung sequence nung ginagawa mo is andito pa lang, hindi pa natatapos. And then if you're working on a team, you can use this one to communicate the information that you want to convey to your colleagues. So pwede ka maglagay ng mga comments. Maglagay ka ng note dito na do not touch this part. Yan, medyo passive-aggressive pero it proves the point na pwede siyang gamitin to do yung communication. Right? So, we can just close this one and then see kung ano yung magiging effect dun sa model. And using yung editor, we are able to complete yung model without using any part of yung traditional na modeling technique na tinuro natin from yung mga previous na video. Okay? And with that, we can now proceed with yung next na demonstrations.